Konnichiwa, Sekai. Ink again, and welcome back to the Aster region, my Fakemon region based on the Midwestern United States and the Kansai region of Japan. Last time we took a look at the early route Pokemon of our region, so now we'll be looking at the regional cat, dog, and our first few regional variants. But before we get into that, I want to show off our region's rivals. Every Pokemon game has them, whether they're nice, a jerk, or just plain cute. They're always there to shake things up and make the region more interesting. So that's what I hope these two will do themselves. Let's start off with our jerk rival. Say hello to Luna.
You better give your A game. I've been prepping for this since I was 5.
We didn't have a girl jerk rival yet, so I figured I'd make one. She's a very intelligent young lady. She's been reading up on Pokemon strategies since she could read it all. She picks the starter that's strong against yours, and I also wanted her to have that sort of cocky but intelligent style to her. She's very disinterested in most things, but once a battle gets going, she is completely focused. Now, usually with a jerk rival, we have a nice rival to balance it out. So, say hello to Aaron. Hey there, friend. Let me know if you need any help. Aaron is kind of the big brother, nice guy type of guy. Very reliable. He's the one who teaches you how to catch your first Pokemon if you don't already know how, and he doesn't really complain when he's stuck with the last pick of the starters. He's all about making connections with his team or people around him. Similar to Luna, he's also very knowledgeable, though his knowledge is more centered around nature and plants and animals than anything else. The one thing people are willing to say bad about him is that he's very slow to change, which will be made evident in his story. Similar to Gen 5, where the rivals represented the dichotomy of the region's themes, Luna and Aaron represent tech and nature respectively, with the player representing balance. Basically, they're polar opposites. They're really only friends because they're both friends with you. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into Pokemon. Before I show off our regional dog, I want to go briefly into the ecology of the first route. You see, the Aster region is much colder than we're used to, with ice and snow pretty common in the north, and cold temperatures common in the south. And I decided, rather than have us do the usual thing of start from the bottom of the region and work our way to the top, which has been done literally every region except Alola, I figured we could start at the top and work our way down. Because of this, ice types would actually be pretty common in this region. I imagine on Route 1 it'd be reasonably easy to find yourself a Sneasel or a Snover, maybe a Snom or two, in addition to a Squavit. Not an ice type, it's just here. This is because the ice type is admittedly pretty terrible. Like, it's got a lot of weaknesses. It just makes sense to be a beginner type. That, and it kind of gives you a little bit of difficulty if you want. If you choose Flarva, you can just blast through everything. If you choose Infantry, you get a challenge. So, naturally, our regional dog is an ice type. This is Snow Inu. That's Snow and Inu. Inu is just Japanese for dog, but there is a legit breed of dog called the Shiba Inu. I chose this one specifically because it's very closely related to wolves. I think it's in like the top 4 dog breeds most related. You'll see what I'm doing with that when it evolves. I focused on this thing just being a cute little puppy that you would likely want to take home with ya. I even made its little neck fur look like a little scarf with a little ice crystal on it, which is really the only amount of ice really on this. Like, ice-type Pokemon don't really need ice after all. And I gave it the little pattern that makes it kind of look like snow. Snow Inu, the ice dog Pokemon, an ice type. Snow Inu love to roll and play in the snow. Their fur protects them from the harsh cold. Soon enough, your Snow Inu will evolve into Husky Scout. This Pokemon is based on Huskies, obviously, with a little bit of wolf in there as well. Why Husky? Well, that's kind of what I'm going for. Shiba Inus are really related to wolves, but aren't necessarily looking like them, and Huskies look like wolves if wolves were downsized. With the fur on this one, I kept the scarf thing going, but also made the top of its head look like it's wearing a little beanie. Gotta keep warm in the cold after all. The ice crystal from its first form now kind of looks like a star, and it's gained a second one. Similar to Arachnivy, I gave this one purplish eyes that really contrast with its color scheme and make them pop. I love this, and it'll reference the future type that it'll gain in its final form. But for now, it's still just a mono ice. Husky Scout, the Ice Dog Pokemon and Ice type. Husky Scout are known to be reliable scouts in cold regions. Their senses prevail even in harsh snowstorms. And finally, Husky Scout will evolve into Astrolf. Astral and Wolf. This is where my whole Inu, Husky, Wolf thing comes full circle. And as for why it's called Astrolf, well, now it's a psychic type. This is a reference to an old, it's either Irish or Scottish, I can't really remember, legend about astral projecting werewolves. Like a person fell asleep and then their spirit took over a wolf or something. As for why I'm doing this here, simple. Galar didn't do it, so I have to. I put these little astral flames around it similar to that of a Komainu, which are depicted with flamish things, and I gave it a color scheme sort of based on an Aurora Borealis. I just thought it would fit this Pokemon. Astrolf, the Ice Wolf Pokemon, an Ice and Psychic type. Astrolf are very protective of their trainers. It's said on dark, snowy nights, its spectral fur will light the way home. Moving on, here's our first regional variant of the Aster region, Asterian Baneri. This Pokemon is based on Blue Bunny Ice Cream, a brand of ice cream that was founded in the Midwest and is one of Iowa's only claims to fame. Hey, don't look at me like that. You almost got an Asterian Vanillix. For Asterian Baneri, I made the fluffy fur bits look more like ice cream. You know, that little swirly shape that's famous for them. And I added in some little patchworks of white on the now blue fur. I was kind of basing this off of birthday cake ice cream, but with a bit of a simplified color palette of blue, white, and pink. A bit of last minute, I added these little pink sprinkles all around its fur. I kind of got the idea that they're sort of like a camouflage, making it look like it has extra eyes all around it or something. I don't know. Baneri, Asterian form, an Ice and Normal type. In the Aster region, Baneri have developed a specific camouflage to confuse predators. This camouflage coincidentally resembles ice cream.
And of course, Asterian Baneri evolves into Asterian Lapbunny. For Lapbunny, I kind of changed up the pose just slightly, mostly because I've heard people don't really like the implication of breasts with Lapbunny's cannon pose. But to make sure there was not just a little dead space around her neck, I gave her that little neck fluff, similar to the ones around her ears and arms. The ears are shorter this time around because I feel like these versions of Lapbunny use more of their camouflage than their hearing. And, of course, the sprinkles got a little more elaborate. I think I had it in my head that this Lapbunny is noticed by humans and gets affection for its patterns, and really likes that affection. It's this form where I really got the idea that the sprinkles are supposed to look like extra eyes, because then you actually see the bright pink eyes it has.
Lapbunny, Asterian form, an Ice and Normal type. Due to their coats, Lapbunny have garnered much praise from humans. Hungry for more, this Pokemon makes it its job to be a spectacle. And for our final Pokemon of the night, here we have Styrion Skitty. This one came to me when I asked the question, why don't we have a black cat Pokemon yet? And don't try and convince me Sneasel counts. Sneasel is blue. For Asterian Skitty, it was pretty simple. Swap out the colors, give it a little flame tail because now it's a ghost fire type, which will make sense for when it evolves, and I wanted it to open its eyes. We always change the personality of a Pokemon when we give it a regional variant. So this one, instead of having its eyes closed all the time, it's always creepily staring at you. For colors, I contrasted the black with a nice teal green that really pops. And for shading, I really didn't actually do any of it, apart from adding the lighter bits. This Pokemon is simply one with the shadows. Skitty, Asterian form, a ghost fire type. The Skitty of this region have absorbed a high amount of spiritual energy, changing their behavior. It's noted they live much longer than their Hoenn counterparts.
And here is where the Asterian Skitty line's inspiration comes true. Instead of evolving into a Delcatty, this one evolves into Pyromata, a pyromaniac Necomata that creepily he floats in midair like a Cheshire cat. I actually tried to give it an open grin, but that didn't look right. And not even in the creepy way either. Similar to Astrolf, this Pokemon has little flames around the front and feet, and it has a spell tag around its collar. I was actually thinking maybe you can only evolve it with the spell tag at midnight. You know, give it a real creepy evolution method to match its new creepy aesthetic. Once again, the teal really contrasted well against the black, though this time I also gave it its subtle midnight blue stripes. Pyromata, the black cat Pokemon, ghost and fire type. Pyromata are seen as bringers of bad luck and misfortune. They say befriending one will transfer your rotten luck to your enemies.
And there we have the second half of the early route Aster Pokemon. Which one is your favorite? Personally, I like how the Pyromata line turned out. Next time, we'll be focusing a bit more on the tech side of things than the nature half like we've been doing. Along with something I'm sure you're all gonna want to see. But in the meantime, make sure to check out the other videos if you haven't, and like and subscribe so I can get more out of there. Until then, ink out.